So the role of humans in the kind of future versions of work is almost unknowable, right? You can make some predictions, we can make some bold claims, but I think the reality is that the right way to imagine how work will change, and hence the role of humans will change, is to think about the things that we do now that might be either enhanced and hence more doable by a wider range of people, and hence actually more accessible to a wider set of individuals with different types of education. So for example, right now, architecture, as opposed to simply design, is mainly in the hands of people who've gone through a fairly broad and rigorous education that includes a lot of math, a lot of engineering, and certain areas of engineering design require a lot of engineering ramp up. But the future could allow artificial intelligence to enable folks who have creative ideas but might lack the rigor of math or engineering to implement and create in a way that would have either taken lots of human partnerships across a team, or a lot of education that they either didn't have time for or just weren't predisposed to. So the future of work in some ways looks quite bright because you can fill gaps in your capabilities to enhance your preferences and your great strengths to do things you couldn't have done before. On the other hand, I think there will be a fundamental reality that a lot of work that we take for granted is very human. A lot of white-collar work that requires a bachelor's or a master's, will essentially be made redundant by artificial intelligence systems or machine learning. And this means in some ways that humans will have to rethink what it means to have meaning, what work really includes. And it's challenging, obviously, but you can imagine that there is an optimistic view that says perhaps people can work less often, more intensely in the things that bring them joy and they're particularly good at, augmented by this good version of AI that I mentioned, and then with the rest of their time, perhaps engage in endeavors that we might think of as leisure or hobby. But I would point out that a lot of leisure and hobby efforts these days become amateur competition, become points of interest among lots of folks, and can be very satisfying. So I think, to summarize, you have a future in which people's strengths can be enhanced because their weaknesses are offset, which is great news. A future in which a lot of things that people who are smart and well-educated and hardworking do with earnest may in fact go away, but that in turn will allow us to rethink how we really spend our time. So humans, ironically, will have to work harder to be more human than we've been in the past.